A good Monday to you all. I am a reader. I could be called a bookworm. I have been such since I learned to read. After I got my card, going to the library was almost like going to the candy store. I'd leave every time with my arms full, books piled high. I read much for my work as a pastor. I'm currently reading How to Be an Anti-Racist by Ibram Kendi, and I'm reading Intimacy with God by Thomas Keating. I read a novel almost every night before bed. Well, not an entire novel, although I have been known to do that. I read a little bit of a novel every night before bed. I sometimes have been known to read into the wee hours if it's especially good. I have read some exceptional books this summer. The Good Neighborhood by North Carolina author Therese Ann Fowler. The Book of Longings by Sue Monk Kidd. American Dirt by Janine Cummins. I just finished The Book of Unknown Americans by Christina Henriquez. I found it among some books that my boys had, and Oliver said that it was his assignment to read before starting as a freshman at UNC Charlotte. All of these books have something in common. They could be called depressing. At least one of them is an Oprah pick, and as she herself has said, I do gut-wrenching books. They are novels about hardship and challenge, and they do not always have happily ever after endings. These kind of books make me feel something. They make me care about the main characters and learn from them. They challenge what I know or thought I knew. I admire the strength, the resilience, perseverance, and hopes of the main characters. These novels I have just mentioned rip at one's heart. They're stories of a biracial young man unjustly accused of a crime, a mother and her son fleeing for their lives from Mexico, a woman who rebelled against her oppressors and felt powerless, immigrant families who give up much to come to America for a better future. These novels tell stories that could really be true. I decided to enjoy something a little lighter last week, chick lit as it's sometimes called, so I was really disappointed when the main character, after a surprise summer meeting with the man of her dreams, returned to her physically abusive husband and lived out the rest of her years. And now I'm reading a book titled Jesus, My Father, the CIA, and Me, a memoir of sorts. The book is good, but as seems to be my trend, really sad, as the narrator's father is a very mean alcoholic. In these stories, I always note the kindness and generosity of some of the minor characters. There is almost always someone who offers help. Sometimes it's a priest or a pastor, a neighbor, a family member, a teacher, a doctor, or a stranger whose heart is bigger than his or her credentials. Mostly, I am not the one oppressed. In the story in which I find myself, my life, I am privileged in that I can be the helper. Upon finishing a book such as those I've mentioned, I close it and I know that I am being called to do something. I often learn through literature that which my faith has taught me. Our scriptures teach us to walk in this way. From 1 Corinthians 3:9, we are God's servants, working together. You are God's field, God's building. From Galatians 6, verse 2, bear one another's burdens, and in this way you will fulfill the law of Christ. And from Galatians 6, verses 9 and 10, so let us not weary in doing what is right, for we will reap at harvest time if we do not give up. So then, Whenever we have opportunity, let us work for the good of all. And from Hebrews 10, verses 23 and 24. Let us hold fast to the confession of our hope without wavering, for he who promised is faithful. And let us consider how to provoke one another to love and good deeds. Please join me in prayer. Gracious God, we continue to ask for help as we navigate this difficult time. We ask for healing for those who are sick in body, mind, or spirit. We ask for skill and perseverance for health workers. We ask for wisdom for researchers that they might develop better tests, treatment, and vaccines. We ask for comfort for those who mourn. We ask for compassion for all who are making hard decisions on behalf of others, particularly education administrators and boards. We ask that you would encourage those for whom the virus is only one of many worries. And let us be helpers as we can, as you call us to be, joining in your work, bringing your kingdom to earth. Thank you for our hope in you and for the power and promises of Jesus Christ. Amen. If you have books to recommend to me, be in touch. And if anyone wants to borrow the ones I've mentioned, let me know. I have just a few announcements. If you have been visiting the Kirk for some time and would like to know more about us, I am offering a class exploring the Kirk via Zoom this coming Sunday at 4 o'clock. Please email me today or call the Kirk office no later than tomorrow morning to register. If you'd like to participate in card making or a game night, check out the Kirk Crier or Windows for details. Our COVID cases continue to rise in North Carolina. I know that we can do better. Please continue to be careful. We are all weary of the pandemic, but scientists continue to maintain the need for physical distancing, wearing masks, and quarantining if you have any symptoms or who have been exposed to someone who has had symptoms. Take good care, and the peace of Jesus Christ be with you all.